Alright, all you insomniatic TV channel surfers out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to go into another classic edition of the As Seen on TV. And to celebrate our 3/4 of the way of almost making it to well over 100 episodes, and I still can't believe we made it this far with this many episodes, we go into a show that came from the Adult Swim lineup that is very close to my heart to wrap up this month of independence, none other than home movies. And for those who don't know, this show, The Meat and Potatoes, is a boy that goes by the name of Brendon Small alongside with his friends Melissa and of course Jason, all going around filming movies out of their basement or on location in certain areas as filmmakers. Now, before we review this show, folks, this show always made me want to get into film directing in the future, but never really pursued it. I think I only did one movie, and that was on The Day in the Life of WJSB, and after that, we just immediately got out of film business, because there was this other person we went to school with called Alec Moduletsky, who was, I do believe, a genius when it came to making films. And don't tell him I said that, because I got a feeling he's out there creating the next big Spielberg film saying, he finally said it. But besides all that, folks, what else did I love about this show? Well, besides the cool music that was featured during it, and I'll go further into that in a minute, besides all the music that was created by Brendon Small during this said show, the other thing that I loved about this show was the cast of this show as well. Not only having Brendon Small, who in my opinion was a musical cartoon genius, but you also had H. John Benjamin, who was also featured in shows such as Archer, and even featured during the show Bob's Burgers in the near future, and also featured in a show for Adult Swim called Lucy, Daughter of the Devil. Almost forgot about that. Then you also had Paula Poundstone, who was involved in several different late night shows, including The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, also featured a part of The Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and even featured in her own late night show called The Paula Poundstone Show. Not sure if I've ever seen that on TV, but I wish I had of, because like I said before, this girl has a big pedigree when it comes to late night TV shows, also being a part of David Letterman as well. Nice! And besides her, you also have Loren Bouchard, who was featured during this show, who was also a part of Bob's Burgers, Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, and even a part of the show that came prior to this one, known as Dr. Katz. Now, real surprised he wasn't a part of Science Court, which was another show that came before this one, or around the same time as this show came out, which was another one of my favorite shows that was released by Brendon Small and Company. And before we forget, folks, we almost forgot to mention that Dr. Katz himself was featured during this said show, Jonathan Katz, along with some comedy legends along the lines of not only Louis C.K., Patton Oswalt, Mitch Hedberg, and you even had, of all people, David Cross, and even Todd Berry, along with Andy Kindler, who was also featured during this show as well, along with Gilbert Gottfried and Tom Kenny. So definitely a lot of comedic heavy hitters featured during this said show as well. And one of my favorite episodes of this show, besides the one episode where Brendon and the gang decided to get together and try to come up with their own band and coming up with the song Freaky Outy, which got on Coach McGurk's nerves, but also the episode that featured one of their greatest movies that Brendon somehow did not like, featuring Franz Kafka. And if you don't know what that is, folks, that was from the musical group that worked alongside with Brendon to provide music during all of the movies that they've ever produced, for them to step up to the plate to create their own movie in a rock opera featured with Franz Kafka. And trust me, folks, it was awesome. It was an absolutely awesome episode to watch, and not to mention an awesome episode to see you independent artists out there trying to do a cover of that said song, which I do believe one of you out there did it during a school talent show too. Nice! And the show Home Movies, and the only reason we were able to mention it during this said Adult Swim lineup, folks, was featured during Adult Swim as of September 2nd of 2001, and would last all the way until April 4th of 2004, with well over 52 episodes a part of the course of those 4 seasons. Now, originally, this show came out as of April 26th of 1999, a part of UPN, and also was featured during Comedy Central for a short stint, but they don't really talk about that. But nevertheless, the fact that this show was able to last for approximately 5 years and still is talked about well over 16 years later tells you how powerful this show truly is. Now, fast forward 2 years later, after the unfortunate end of Home Movies, you would see Brendon Small go on to create Metalocalypse. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, one of the creators of the show, or one of the directors of this said show, that goes by the name of Loren Bouchard, would go on to actually create Bob's Burgers, that would see H. John Benjamin go on to be the voice of Bob himself. So everybody went on to do great things afterwards. And seeing the fact that we don't know how to review TV shows along the lines of TV Guide or any of those other famous TV reviewers you know of out there, we say this: if you want to go ahead and watch a TV show about 3 kids trying to live their dreams out as famous directors of movies to put on small movies that eventually would win awards and steal the hearts of millions or thousands who tend to watch it on a weekly or nightly basis, then I recommend you go out there, pick up your TV channel remotes, and watch that show. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back into this music once again. And when we return, we'll be back with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't go watching those infomercials just yet, folks, and stay tuned.